this is going to be a midpoint. This cord's in the way. Okay, midpoint vertex rotation on an equilateral triangle. Okay, so for this, okay. All right, so we're going to start with an equilateral triangle. So when you go to insert and you go to shapes, you have to make sure to make an equilateral triangle, you hold the shift key down. So there's my equilateral triangle. I'm going to unfill it. And I'm going to make the outline nice and thin. So this is a midpoint vertex rotation. So watch what I do here. I'm going to go to insert and pick one of my two tools that I use, like the curve tool. And you start, well, actually, the first thing you should do is pick the line tool. Just pick the line tool and do a vertical line right through the vertex. So that's going to give you your midpoint. See how that went right through the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you only do that part.
Yeah.
So you're doing two different things on this. So now get the curve tool and start here. And then you just click. And you do, you could do whatever you want to do here.
So you do it all the way down to the...
You go all the way down to here and double click. And then you copy it. And then, do you know how many degrees are in an equilateral triangle? Each angle? There's 180 degrees in the whole triangle, so if you break it into 3 equal parts, 60, right? So you're going to take this and rotate it 60 degrees or 300 degrees, depending on the direction you want to go, because 60 degrees...
So wait, would you rotate this?
60 degrees
like
would look like
yes.
Like,
oh, I get it, so...
I wonder if I can get the pin. I don't think I can... Okay. No, so like when you have a whole circle, if you go 60 degrees, that would be one way. If you started here and went 300 degrees, it would just be the same amount the other way. Does that make sense? So you have to decide which one to rotate at. So you can just click on rotate and check and see which way the computer rotates for you. So if I do more rotate options and I do 60, that moved me right to there. So this vertex is like a pivot point. So a pivot point is like when you put your heel down.
Kind of like a pendulum.
Yes, it's like a pendulum. So you also have the option to hold the shift key down. It goes in multiples of 10, but you have to get it in the right place. So it's going like that, and then you could slide it right in there. Do you get that?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so I'm going to delete that. We only need that in one place. Then you want to line it up so it's lined up well on the bottom. Now, that's the vertex part of the rotation. Now we're going to do the midpoint part of the rotation. So go to Insert and Shapes. And you can use this tool or this tool as usual. So here it's like the other rotation I showed you in the beginning of class. You start at the corner.
Oh, and you use... Oh.
And then you end at the midpoint. Then you do a 180, right? You remember you could do that with the shift key. I didn't quite get there. So there we go. I know it's 180 because the green circle is exactly opposite of where it was.
Yeah.
And so that's my shape. So then you remember to do a save as midpoint vertex rotation on an equilateral triangle. That's what it should say. And call it shape. so you don't get it mixed up with your tessellation. Then you can delete this and delete this and group these. And then shrink it down a little bit. There's a, and you can paint and all that kind of stuff, but today I'm just teaching you how to put it together. I'm going to do a save as at this point and call it a midpoint vertex rotation tessellation. So I know there's two different files. So remember I have this file, and I also have, if I wanted to go to recents, I also have the shape, right? I have the one with the shape, and then I have the one without, right?
Yeah.
And so okay, so to piece it together, let's go with a couple of colors so you can see the difference. So we can go green. Okay, and then you're gonna rotate it 60 degrees to piece it together.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like when you alternate triangles.
Kind of, right? So you're gonna make a pod.
Yeah.
So if I make a pod like this,
Oh, it's gonna be a circle.
then I could take this one and copy it. Maybe I want to do, you could experiment with colors and see if you can use 2 or 3.
Flip that 60 degrees.
It's going to be, it becomes like a hexagon, exactly.
Oh, that's gonna be.
So look, when I group all 3 of these, I can save myself some work.
We can just color that in some.
Yeah, it does. It looks kind of cool. And so then I'm going to rotate this whole one 180 degrees.
Oh yeah, and then it'll stick together. Oh, that's awesome.
So it makes a pinwheel effect.
Oh, that's really cool.
So this one goes like that. Yeah. Once you get a pod, you can group the 2 pieces to make the pod. And you might shrink it down again a little bit. Because once you make the pod, remember the top part, this blue part, is 180 degrees rotated into this part. So the pod sticks together, but maybe you want, you might want to bring it into paint and do all that, and you might want, then the symmetry here isn't quite right. So you want to think about your symmetry. So you want to think about it. You don't really want the same colors touching. You got to play around with it. So if it were filled, you could see color better, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to let you guys do that part. And so that's how it tessellates. Okay?